Everyone, and welcome back. It's me, Jessie. If you're new here, you can hit that subscribe button below and hit the little bell if you want to be notified when I post new videos. So, these last 2 weeks, I always say this, but they completely got away from me. So last week, I was doing a lot of Christmas party prep and just cleaning up around my house and trying to get some decorations up. And yeah, the week was just crazy. This past week, I had a bunch of evenings off and I was like, oh, I can't wait to film videos and do recipes. But my dog Maggie is having these eye problems. And because we live in a remote rural community, we don't have access to a vet in town. So I've been taking pictures and emailing back and forth with a vet in Winnipeg. So we've been trying a whole bunch of different things. He sent a prescription to the pharmacy for me to try. We've tried switching out her food. We're just trying to narrow it down and figure out see if we can figure out what these issues are with her eyes. Obviously, if we can't figure them out, we're actually going to have to send her to Winnipeg, which is not exactly a super easy task to put your dog on a plane and send them to a city at the other side of your province. So yeah, it's just been a week. I did manage to film the time-lapse of me decorating my Christmas tree, so I'm just going to stick that at the end of this video because I didn't actually really get any new ornaments this year, so at least not so far. So I didn't really have anything to really point out or show too much. Anyway, in this video, I'm going to show you some Christmas party ideas. For games, specifically, I should specify. So when I was trying to find Christmas party games for my staff Christmas party, there are millions on the internet. So many. It was a little bit much to try and go through them all, and I don't know, then you end up modifying and it just takes a little bit of time. So I want to tell you the 6 games that are tried and tested by a lot of my coworkers, and they were genuinely a really fun time. And if you have a party coming up and you need some easy and relatively cheap party ideas, then stay tuned because these are for you. First though, before I get into the Christmas party games, I have 2 cards I need to open. So my first card is from Dallas, Texas. That's exciting. All the way down in Texas, and we're practically in the North Pole. Oh my god, it's so cute. It is, oh my god, guys. I love llamas. And my second card is from Airway Heights, Washington. There we go. Oh, it's just a cute little Santa card. No recipes this time. That's okay though. Okay, let's talk about some Christmas games. So the first game, which I'm sure you have seen all over the internet and all over Facebook by now, is what I have dubbed Oven Mitt Hot Potato. So, what you need for this game is a Santa hat, a pair of oven mitts, a pair of dice, and a present. Now, the present, you're going to want to have it wrapped multiple times. So for mine, I actually wrapped it 6 times. I regret using as much tape as I did because it was hard with all the tape. The way it works is the first person, doesn't matter how you decide who the first person is, but the first person starts to roll the dice. And they roll the dice until they get doubles. Once they get doubles, they have to put on the oven mitts, put on the Santa hat, and start trying to unwrap the present. While they're putting on the oven mitts, the next person is going to start rolling the dice until they get doubles. Once they get doubles, they have to take the Santa hat, take the oven mitts, put them on, and then start unwrapping the present. So, as you can imagine, this goes on for quite a while. It gets so funny. People get so stressed out trying to roll those doubles. And also, once they roll a set of doubles, they are ripping the Santa hat off the person. They're fighting over the oven mitts. It is hilarious. The next game I want to tell you about is a kind of Christmas twist on the egg race. Now, an egg race game, I'm sure that you've seen it before. You have an egg, you balance it on a spoon. In this case, we used pom-poms, and you had to carry the spoon in your mouth. So the reason why I chose pom-poms was because they're really light, and they're actually pretty hard to keep on your spoon when you're trying to walk from one place to another and back. We did it sort of as a reigning champion style. So the first 2 people did the race. Whoever won that race was then up against the next challenger, I guess. There's lots of ways you can do it. You can do it timed, you can do it like obstacle course style, you can do it relay team style. There's lots of ways you can modify this to fit your group. The next game is a Christmas twist on Drunk Server. So if you're not familiar with Drunk Server, essentially the whole concept of the game is that you are a server who is dizzy and has to carry a tray of drinks from one end of a room to the other and back. Now, how do you get dizzy? You could just consume a bunch of adult beverages, or, so I've seen people use baseball bats or broomsticks or any other kind of like stick to spin around on. But since it is Christmas, I used a wrapping paper tube, and I just wrapped some ribbon around it just to make it a little shiny and more festive. So, like I said, you just kind of walk around it. You look down at the top of the tube and walk around it real fast while looking down, and it makes you nice and dizzy. You can do it for a predetermined amount of time. We set alarms for 10 and 15 seconds. Honestly, that was plenty. It doesn't take a lot to get people dizzy. Once they're nice and dizzy, you're gonna give them a serving platter. I just use these like aluminum foil baking sheets because they're cheap and, you know, they're still sturdy enough that it's okay. And then you just put a bunch of plastic cups on there. I've seen this where like the cups are filled with water. We were at an inside venue and I didn't want to get water all over the floor, so I just used pom-poms. It's the same concept. They're going to take the tray with one hand and walk back and forth. You can make it as long or as short as you want. You can put obstacles there again. You can do it relay style where they have to pass it off to another dizzy person. But this is the basic concept. Another game that I'm sure you've seen all over the internet is called Junk in the Trunk or Jingle in the Trunk, depending on what version you use. Essentially, you take an empty Kleenex or tissue box. You fill it with pom-poms or cotton balls or ping pong balls or whatever you can think of, and then you secure it around a person's waist using either a belt or just duct tape like we did. You're gonna make sure that the box is on their backside, and then they have to shake the items out of the box. So you can imagine that some of the techniques can be very entertaining. It's a nice quick game. There's a little bit more prep work to it, but it's totally worth it. Another fun game we played was called Candy Cane Twist. Now this is a game that I sort of made up. I kind of took it from a bunch of different games and like smushed them together. So essentially it is 2 candy canes, and you have ribbon taped to both candy canes. One candy cane has a whole bunch of ribbon wrapped up around it. The other one just has a little bit of the end taped on. So each participant is going to take a candy cane in their mouth, and you need to get all of the ribbon off of this candy cane onto this one without using your hands. So whether both participants are kind of like moving their heads, or if one participant is just moving their head, or however they can make it work, whatever team can get all the ribbon onto the other candy cane the quickest wins. And the last game I'm going to talk about is Paper Plate Artist, or in our case we used foam plates, but it's the same thing. So everyone gets a plate and a pen or a marker. They put the plate on their head, and then using their pen or marker, they're going to draw a scene. Now, they're not just going to draw whatever they want. You have to tell them what they're going to draw. So you might say, draw a floor, draw a Christmas tree, draw a fireplace, put the star on the Christmas tree, put a present under the tree, and so on and so forth. Once they're all done, either they mark their own plate, or you can make them switch plates and make them mark each other's plate. But there's a scoring system. So 1 point if the tree is actually on the floor, 1 point if the present is actually under the tree, and so on and so forth. If you need an example or a template, I'll leave it in the description box below, a suggested kind of story and scoring system. This is a really, really easy one. The only supplies you need are the plates and markers. So with a big group of people, this is really easy because you just need one person calling out the directions and everyone else can participate. Okay, so that's all for today's video. Please stay tuned and just watch the time lapse of my decorating. And I guess I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.